now that I'm not going to start fumbling on my words and looking like an idiot like most of the time. But and we can't even edit that part out because it was live broadcast. So what can you do? But welcome everyone back. Of course, Calvin joining me.
Yeah, thanks. Always good to be on. Glad to be out here at Libertopia. Glad to make it, and it's always good stuff.
Yeah, you know, we always get very high marks when we do the roundtable with JT.
Right.
And it's not just because there's no interruption, but we are able to. I guess it has something to do with that because we're not interrupted.
Right.
By the breaks.
Yep. We get to start and finish the thought in one conversation. But yeah, it's always a good time.
Yeah. So we're gonna. I mean, I got in the habit of writing it out because otherwise I can't remember. And really what I started doing too was because I would always be viciously attacked by some host because I'd done a lot of mainstream radio shows when I was doing a promotion, which I need to do again for Government Indicted. So what they commonly do is cut you to pieces, and then they can hear, you know, and so they know, oh, we're going to break. So, oh, this is the time to cut Mark to shreds, and I write it down, and then they'll ask me something when we get back to, well, actually I want to address this, and no, we're going to move on. You son. But I wrote down, because you were making a point about the police statistics.
Oh, right. I mean, I was pretty much finished. But however, you know, the thing is it's hard to get data on that. You can't find data on how many civilians, how many innocent people get killed by thugs wearing uniforms and shiny badges. And it's just really interesting that we have that statistic where the FBI comes out and they show that while crime rates are going down, police brutality is going up, and I think that's quite telling. But something I suggested to Angela Keaton from antiwar.com, hopefully we can have her on, was this type showing and underscoring this type of behavior from police, because it's not just simply targeted on just any old innocent. The people that you seem to target the most are the people who may walk into their headquarters, ask them a few questions that may not jive or that may they go against the common dogma, and that will make you a target. So something that I hope we can talk with her about is ways to campaign to bring awareness of who law enforcement, and that just doesn't mean your local police, but the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, all of the umbrella alphabet agencies that are out there, ways to have raise awareness to a campaign so that we could show who the real bad guys are, that they are the ones aggressing against innocent people. Because I think while you and I and everyone here at Libertopia understand the threat model, I don't think that the 99% plus rest of the population do understand it well. And it's something that Aaron Swartz was really talented at, was being able to raise awareness on digital rights being violated, people, the internet being surveilled, and he launched some, you know, I'm sure you remember the SOPA campaign, and that was defeated. It was him and a group of other activists that were able to raise awareness in non-conventional ways. You notice no one went on the streets with signs, yet that was stopped. So you have to think a little asymmetrically and outside the box to be able to have these effective campaigns to raise awareness on law enforcement targeting. And I think that data point where the FBI comes out and says that, you know, their abuse is increasing despite the decrease in crime, and you know, that's statutory crime. The real crime, you know, the violent crimes, you know, those are probably even going down more because there's nowhere to run.
Well, that's the actual statistic.
Oh, the violent
crime. They're not talking about, well, you know, traffic violations. Right. They're talking about actual violent crimes, and you know, part of me wants to make this joke, and I don't know. It's just if you're familiar with Freakonomics, their premise, and it seems to be, I can't go into all the detail here, but the basic premise was they noticed that there was a correlation, you know, and how in 1994 around there, a lot of violent crimes had started going down, not because of any police or anything. What they noticed was that, Roe v. Wade, and they saw what they thought was a connection between Roe v. Wade. Wait a minute. The people who would have been having, kids at a wedlock or, a non-stable home, I'm not saying one way, wow. They're saying that the reason why it's going down is because so many of these potential criminals, were aborted. So they back it up a lot better than I'm doing here. Okay, don't look. And so I just see some kind of sick joke in there that well, not enough actually were because they're still becoming cops.
Oh, whoa.
You see, that landed.
You're getting better.
That one landed. Okay.
I don't know if you're getting better or if people are just adjusting to your sense of humor.
I think I built it up.
All right, there you go.
I had a proper build up to that.
Proper deployment.
It's just I was looking at and I was like, oh gosh, I think I just really offended this woman. What did I say? Do I back out of this now or do I still go for the joke? But the statistics, again, to get back serious, are for violent crimes. So I think, based on what we see in Ferguson, some of these other things, where the public tide seems to shift away from the cops being the moral high ground, that the people, they lose that. And I think when you see these things, and hopefully there's a lot of attention on this, that, wait a minute, violent crime is going down. Why is police crime, why is that going up? What is really, if violent crime is really going down, that's what the statistics show, what is the cause of the rise in police brutality?
Right, I think there's two main points of the protesters with the Ferguson thing. First off is that they thought the killing of Michael Brown was unjustified and wrongful. That's one, and there's certain facts you have to come out to really determine who was in the wrong and who was aggressing against who there, and that's one conversation. But I think the bigger and broader conversation that is being had is police misconduct, police abuse, and I think since that was part of the conversation in these protests, I think the police had to double down and really quell dissent, and I think that's where you're seeing such an escalation of force and a show of force from the police side, because I think as time goes on and people become more aware of this, they have to respond, it's their way of doubling down, and they can't just let people go on with the belief that they commit crimes as well. Yet people have their own eyes, and just like Sequoia earlier, she can, people can see reality for what it is, and you can't carry the facade. You can't believe the man in the curtain all the time, because one day Dorothy's going to come up and pull it aside, and I think that's what was happening in Ferguson. Is I think people were being able to see who the perpetrators are and have been for a long time, and they were desperate to have a conversation about it, and that's what and the conversation is continuing. So kudos to them, and I think the more people come to these realizations and analyze what's going on and think about it and tune into shows like this where we talk about it day in, day out and kind of decipher what's happening, I think the tides are going to change. There will be a point where it's not going to be an escalation of force, but where police actually de-escalate their operations and they only target violent people, and then hopefully we get to the point to where they can disappear and it can be a private voluntary service, but baby steps.
Yeah, we definitely have to baby step, but I want to talk more about that, about the tide turning in Ferguson when we get back, because it's not just about Brown. My name it's Marc Stevens, Calvin joining me here on The Big Show live from Libertopia 2014. We'll be back with a lot more. Do not go away.